It is time for us to get back in the draft focus with David Bailey and Mansour Delane, and I would like to know if we could start with Bailey, because this is the guy that I guess I thought people wanted Arvell Reese to be in terms of production at getting to the quarterback, although I do realize Arvell Reese is good at stopping the run as well.
Now, Alec, I believe, just talking with Kevin a little bit about what y'all's discussion was Thursday, you were fine with Arvell Reese, but you just weren't like, he's everything. Am I correct here?
Yeah, like, it's a lot of projection with him.
Okay.
You know, I was like, I see why people like him. I understand. It's just you're hoping for a lot of things to go right.
Okay. And with Bailey, when you watch him, I see a different kind of defensive end edge player here. This is actually a kind of player that I'm looking for, that I want. I want Ezraku to be this. And maybe Ezraku will be this, but I want a player like this out on the outside that can do a number of different things going forward. This is my first note on him: downhill, downhill, downhill.
Yeah,
like this dude can once he gets off the snap and he takes off moving forward, he is going right at and nothing's going to stop me. I love this kind of push that he gives. He has a great rip move, gets underneath tackles really well. So that's like he gets that shoulder up against their chest, and he just starts going, and tackles don't know what to do with it because of his speed and power that goes with it.
And I just wanted to make this clear, like with the juxtaposition against Arvell Reese, and because when Alec was laying this out there, I'm not disputing that. It's just the way Alec broke down the film and talked about he's a well-rounded defensive end who can help you stop the run, which is a great thing, but you're projecting on the pass rush. That just seems not usually who's an automatic stamp for a top 5 pick. Whereas you said downhill, downhill, downhill.
Yeah.
That feels like a skill set that the NFL, above anything except for quarterback, says that is what we value.
Yeah, I do think there's like, he is a strong athlete. David Bailey is who I'm talking about here. Very strong athlete, but can still, I think it's because like maybe his lower body is just a little leaner, a little longer. He doesn't have that tree stump kind of thing if needed. But he uses his feet so effectively to get around, to keep going, to keep pushing forward, to gain momentum, and he's so strong that dude, when you talk about Ezraku last year, what were we saying about the kid? He's got moves.
Yeah.
Got pass rush moves. And a lot of people are like, what does that mean? Well, what are your hands doing? Are you using the swim technique? Are you using your rip? Are you using spin move? Are you using all these other things? Whenever your first move doesn't work, if it's a bull rush, what are you doing after that? And this is what David Bailey does so well. He's got multiple things that he can do, and that spin move is absolutely nasty. I do have one problem, though, Alec.
Oh, you don't like that he went to Tech?
I'm fine with him going to Tech. Tech's fine. It's a fine school.
That was a test.
Jacob Rodriguez went there.
That's right.
So did Michael Crabtree.
That's
also
true.
Coach Bro. So
his hiring cycle didn't really work out the way he thought it would, did it?
He wears his football pants like shorts. And I don't know if that's going to carry over in the NFL, like during game day, maybe in practice. But like this has become a thing. 877-881-1053. Correct me if I'm wrong. They've gone to shorty shorts.
No, you're not wrong. I'm not disputing that.
Where the knee? What happens if you fall on your knees? They're going to get all torn up.
So there was a time like 5-6 years ago when people were like, I don't know, did they opt out of the COVID season? Now your version is their pants are too short.
Pants are too short. Yep. And again, I don't know if the NFL's like that's okay, or if they're like, no, we don't wear our pants like that. We're grown men. You know.
Do you have any concerns that he'll be less effective with the longer pants?
Maybe. What if it's a little restricting on his knees and he doesn't get as much bend? Because that's something that this dude does extremely well. Like he bends that pocket so well.
Can I tell you what? That's all. This is all I want now. is for Kuiper to be on there and be like, whew, I think one of the reasons Bailey might be falling is because of this pants issue. That would be amazing.
That would be pretty amazing. One of the reasons I say this is the kind of person I'm looking for also is that he does have pretty good instincts when it comes to dropping into coverage. And so like this is the guy that's a linebacker edge player that can play all 4 downs. You're going to go for it on 4th down too. Look, you can put him back out there, and he's going to be a good player for you. I may overload the line with heavy, and then drop him back into a linebacker spot on one of the edges if I'm doing a big package like that. But this is one of those guys where I'm just like, everything about what he does. Now, he still has more to learn in coverage, still has more to learn there, but he has some pretty good instincts there. So I feel good with him playing a variety of places.
Now, Alex, since we did discuss Arvell Reese a few days back, what do you think? I know they're not the same player, but they have some of the same skill set. What do you think about the comparison of Reese and Bailey?
Well, if you're talking about guys inside of, the top 5, top 10 range, like you were talking about, their necessary skill sets of what they're bringing as an edge rusher, as a defensive lineman, this is the best rusher in the draft. Like the best pure rusher is David Bailey. So if you're looking for that pure pass rusher, this is him. So there's a lot more proof on the tape. There's a lot more consistency in his rush game. He has the lean. He has the instincts to be an NFL pass rusher and a very good one. He doesn't care about your redirect blocks. He doesn't care about zone schemes that you're running and stuff. He's going to find ways to get past you, and he's going to find ways to get home to the quarterback. So not saying that he's a better player overall. The better athlete is Reese, and I think the freak of nature is Reese.
Hence all the projections.
Exactly.
How can you not?
Exactly. So it's just like if you look at Myles Garrett, and you say, that's probably a very good football player. That's what you say with Arvell Reese when you see him, is that's probably going to be a very good football player. With David Bailey, there's a lot of proof there. He lives behind the line of scrimmage. It feels like every time I watched him against, it didn't matter what the competition was. It felt like every time the play was dead, he was behind the line of scrimmage, which I just love. I know that if you're going to be drafting him high, you need him to play all 3 downs. And you're probably going to have to coach him into that because he's a little bit undersized and the toughness might not be where it needs to be right now, but he's a day 1 starter and he's fun. He's really fun. I like how he can flip his hips and move around. He's really athletic. He's got the bend. He's got the twitch. All those fun words that you talk about for a pass rusher, he's got them all.
Here's what's kind of interesting about undersized is he's 6'3", 250. I think at one point they had him listed at 238, 240 range. Oh. That's the size he needs to be.
Right.
And I don't know if you're going to ask him to just be an edge guy, defensive end guy, then he does need to put on a little more. Like he can, but he might be maxed out as far as that's concerned. His body might already be what it's going to be throughout his career. That's where I think the edge linebacker in a 3-4 kind of hybrid situation is more effective for him. But I'm with Alec on that. Like his body is what it is right now, and I'm not sure you're going to add much more to it. That's what I was saying. The lower half of his body, maybe not as stumpy as you want it, but because he's kind of lean in that respect. But I'll use him for every single down, no matter what it is, because as he said, pass rusher, like it's off the charts.
How much of a lost art do you think that's becoming? Having the defensive lineman, specifically, I guess, the edge that's going to be out there for all 3 downs, or all 4 downs.
Well, I mean, Micah's kind of that guy, right? Or was, but then you could see him get worn down. Myles Garrett's one of the only ones
for sure.
Like he does everything, and you kind of everybody's hunting for that guy. Not everybody's going to be a Von Miller. And I wonder if that's like with Ezraku. Is he a Von Miller guy, or you're using him more on these things than you are in the run game? But then we saw he got more effective as the season went on in the run game. So hopefully everything turns out better there.
Now, to go along with that, can you please give me cut number 5 for our second player of the day?
First down, Klubnik in traffic, delivers a pick. He threw it over the head of the receiver, and Mansour Delane with LSU's first takeaway tonight.
Mansour Delane, and one of the things that I love is even if like David Bailey is not necessarily realistic for the Cowboys, I really like it because we have been doing so many defensive players and so many areas where you're like, no, yeah, the Cowboys need somebody. Mm-hmm. Even if it's not this specific player, I like the breakdown and comparisons.
Kevin, we saw Daniel Jeremiah's mock draft.
Yes. Downs
goes at 10. Delane goes at 11 to the Dolphins right in front of the Cowboys, and they get Jermod McCoy, who we studied last week or 2 weeks ago.
Can I just tell you real quick, maybe not as much with Downs, but this is where you get into the scenarios where the Cowboys might be more comfortable with trading. Because, like, let's say all three of those players were on the board. Would I flip out if we didn't take Caleb Downs? Probably. But
I would.
Somebody comes in and says, hey, I'll trade you pick 14. You can see how the Cowboys are like, all right, I like all three of those players essentially equal. Mm-hmm. What am I going to pick up for this? Then let's make the move.
Even in this conversation with Jeremiah's mock, he has Sonny Styles going 15. So my brain's still thinking,
okay, so yeah.
Oh, hold on, can I fix my linebacker spot? Again, we're going to have so much more detail whenever free agency's done and the Cowboys have done their work, if they're going to really do their work. Jerry told us everything's going to look a lot different than it did last year. He didn't use all in, but, you know, if he used some like we're fracking for, one of those kind of things, we'd be like, all right.
Fair to say you and I are both very skeptical.
Yes. I got to see it to believe it at this point. And if that's the case, this is where you're like, well, what do you need? Do you need a cornerback, or did you sign a cornerback in this offseason? But if you needed one and Delane was there, you'd be foolish to not draft him. It would be a ridiculous thing to not say, just put that dude on the outside. He has every instinct you could ever ask out of a player to play the position very well. Now, one of my concerns, not too much of a big concern, but somebody gets past him. He's not necessarily what Diggs was when he had that catch-up speed, but he sticks to players so well, and he's so effective in understanding what their routes are. Like he's a smart player on top of being able to physically be right up on the receiver the entire time. So Mansour Delane, like going from Virginia Tech to LSU, he did a smart thing there.
Yeah, man, you're so right about that, and it just kind of shows a reflection of what so many NFL people think about the SEC. Is he took that gamble, and he probably moved up 3 rounds because of it.
This is the number, Alec, that I just thought was insane. He generated a 27.5 passer rating against when targeted.
Wow.
And he only gave up 2 catches of 20-plus yards and did not allow a single touchdown last year.
All right.
So those 3 factors, he basically said, everybody's looking for the guy that shuts down half of his field. And he basically did that on his own in the SEC. That's a nice thing to see.
Absolutely. Alec?
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility to say at the end of his rookie season, he's one of the top 10 best man coverage corners in football. Like, he's that good. He's versatile, but I think you're going to want to see him land with a really aggressive man scheme. Defensively, he's sticky. That's just the best word. It feels like he is always... There's never more than maybe 3/4 of a yard of separation on any kind of simple route. Double moves and stuff, different question. He can get over aggressive at times, but he will make up for it. He will catch up, and a lot of times in college you have time to catch up because the quarterback hasn't made the read yet. Very active hands. His footwork is amazing. He's smooth. Everything he does just looks natural. It looks like it's in the back of his mind. He's not really thinking about it. It just happens. It's like I line up and I play corner and I play it better than you. So he's awesome. His speed and overall athleticism, probably not anything special, but his technicality and just how handsy he is, getting his hands up at the right time, very late hands like you talked about with receivers, like George Pickens is really good with the late hands. He shows the late hands too to say, no, I know where the ball is. Trust me. I'm just going for it later than you so I can punch it out of your hands.
I saw one play where the ball was coming in. He never did turn. He never turned his head around. He just kept sticking his hand in the route,
right,
like where the ball might be here in a second, and then timed it perfectly to get one. It was pretty brilliant stuff.
I know people all the time are like, you can't teach speed. I know you can teach a certain level of technique, but sometimes I think people overestimate how much your technique can really
make up
improve.
for speed.
Yeah. Because like if his technique's already elite, that's a huge deal.
No,
or on the way to being elite.
If you're a 4-4 guy and you're working with 4-3 receivers, that's a little bit different if you can get the jump on them by just being smart enough to understand what their route is and have good technique.
Alec, do you want Delane or McCoy if for some reason they're both sitting there?
Yes.
You have to pick one, though.
I would take Delane.
Yeah.
I would take Delane. Like, that is a coin flip pretty much for me, but I think Delane is just more plug and play day one.
And the injury, them just being off for a season, this guy is, like he just said, I need somebody that can walk right into my roster.
Right. All right. I like it. Love the breakdowns. I hope everyone out there in Radio Land is enjoying them as well.